Hello, hello, hello. If you are seeing this right here, then you are watching the replay, and I want to thank you. Please, if you're seeing the replay, put hashtag replay down in the comments. Know that I love you. I truly appreciate you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. And as we now wait for some folks to come on, I want to say good morning, soul warriors. I pray that you are happy, healthy, wealthy and whole. I am LC. I am your host for this Recovery Soul Food live stream, Winning Wednesday, as well as the Recovery Soul Food podcast and the Rise Up Recovery YouTube channel. Yes, it's so much. I have so many irons in the fire, and sometimes that within itself is an indication to me and reminds me of exactly what we're going to be talking about today, which is the paradigm. What is a paradigm? What does it mean in our lives? And how in the world do you begin to shift it? What's up, Shane? Stacy H., good morning. I hope you all are well. You see, we're on StreamYard, so if you guys don't mind, share this out. I'm going to share it out just a little bit here. Not going to take much time to do the business. This is the business part, the business of it. So y'all bear with me, please. So listen, I hope you guys are keeping yourself well, keeping yourself safe. This whole COVID thing is extremely, frightening. It can be very frightening, and it can be very, it can be a tricky thing in recovery. And so I really hope more than at any time ever that you are really taking your recovery to that next level of reaching out when you need help. Don't wait until you're covered up under, too much fight, because then it's just we're white knuckling and we don't really have to. So reach out for your resources, have them available. That's part of what the paradigm is. And it would be great if, because some people have heard of what is a paradigm and others just don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean a paradigm? That sounds ridiculous. I was one of those people that had no idea what a paradigm was. And it was in the beginning of my recovery that before I believed in anything spiritual, that I had to realize there was something in the world bigger than me, because without it, I had no hope. So how in the world was I going to do recovery if I had no hope? Because if it was all on me, I wasn't going to be able to do it very long. And because I was so absolutely committed to the complete and utter change of my life from the inside out, then it was not going to be an option for me not to succeed. And so I began to learn about the laws of the universe. And, I had already known about the law of attraction because, like a lot of other people, I saw the movie The Secret quite a few years ago when it came out. And if that's not a movie that you've seen, it's not really a movie, it's more like a documentary. If that's not something that you've seen, I urge you in this perfect time and space where we are in the world today to watch that. It's available, I know, on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, get it. I mean, it really, really will open your eyes to a lot of things that we don't think affect us. People get over hearing about, well, my childhood made me do it. Well, we get over hearing that because it sounds so, people think it kind of sounds weak, that maybe it sounds like a cop-out. But the reality is, what's up, Stephanie? Samir, Sam. What's up, mate? Shy, good to see you. Gorgeous, love you. Love you. Love on those kids for me. So we tend to think things that are not within our current realm of what we know and what we operate into we tend to believe that we will give those things none of our attention. We will put them off into new age hooey. We will put them off into whatever it takes not to upset the apple cart of our current belief system. Okay, because let's face it, where your belief system up until this point has kept you alive. And basically the paradigm is that belief system. And it's not just one belief system. See, people, when we talk about beliefs, they immediately go to religion and they think about what they believe in as far as religion goes. And it really, that's so small to keep that into, because it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with religion. Your belief systems have an effect on every single aspect of your life, your money, your work, your education, your recovery, your addiction. Because the reality is while you were in active addiction, you believed that was as good as it gets for you. You believed every day that you were ruining your life even more, that you would never be able to come back. That's a belief system. And you see, that has nothing to do with spirituality or religion or anything. And so we've got to, what's up, Donald? We've got to stop putting everything, new words, new ideas, and all that stuff in these little boxes that don't allow us to expand our mind, our heart, our connection, and our recovery. Because I don't know about you all, but I didn't get in this recovery lifestyle to suffer like I had already been suffering for the rest of the remainder of my life. I cannot do it. And so I was committed to change on the deepest levels, because coming from that childhood abuse, coming from the place of traumatic happenings, coming from, all the old programs that I had, already learned and been programmed. When we are small, we are born, the subconscious mind and the body. We have no conscious mind. We have no ability to consciously think and choose what we're thinking. And so when we look at our children, we should see them as little sponges, because that's exactly what's happening. And they are drawing in everything they know about the world and how to operate and how things go straight from their environment. And so as hooey as it sounds, our childhood does play a large part in our lives and over into our recovery. And just think about this one thing. Your beliefs about money come from you being small, listening to your mom and dad or whoever your guardians were, either argue about money, always tell you there wasn't enough, or opposite, or there was more than enough and you always got everything you wanted and you never had to go through that. So now your belief about money is equal to whatever you absorbed in that time. So, in that example, my beliefs about money that I have had and am still trying to combat and change through the shift of that paradigm is that we couldn't afford it. That was what I always heard. We can't afford that. Well, do you think money grows on trees? What do you think? Money grows on trees? What do you think? I can just go out there and pick money and get this and that and the other? That is the belief system of lack, that there's not enough, that there's never going to be enough, and I'm always going to struggle. Well, it takes time, but those beliefs and that paradigm can shift. So there again, wasn't even on my notes. So this morning, I read a couple messages last night, and so I had a lot of things on my mind. And this morning, during my meditation time, my prep time, I asked myself a pretty ominous question. And that question was, if somehow this ended up being my last video, what would people remember my message to be? What would all of you remember about my message? And the more ominous question that came after that was, and for how long? So as I was thinking over that, I started thinking, a couple words came straight to my mind, and really it came down to one, which is motivation. All right. And I asked myself, is motivation enough? Is it really, really enough? I not only want you to be yourself, love yourself, and live your best life. What's up? Dudes, a mess. But I want to help you learn on a much deeper level all of those things to where they shift shift down, and I can actually give you skills that you can put into practice and start practicing and change your life today. That's what I would want you to remember my message to be. Not only all those other things, but that right here on this feed, on everything that I do, that we really, really learn how to get down and deep inside of ourselves and live our best lives. And that's exactly what brings me to a place where I want to up my information and give more information, because it's one thing to jump on and get you pumped for the day, but I don't want to just gas you up and leave you with no tools to now work through your day. So today we're going to talk about the paradigm and how to begin to shift the paradigm. So what is a paradigm, and what the hell does it have to do with recovery? Gotcha. A paradigm is a group of habits and beliefs programmed into the subconscious mind, not generally, through repetition, hearing and seeing through your senses over and over and over and over and over again, until they become something that you don't even think about. It's just how you operate. A lot of times they come from traumatic and survival situations where you've had to click in to save your own life, or what you perceive to be saving your own life. Good morning, Larry Brown. I love you, man. So good to see you. And these habits and belief, they control our habits, thoughts, relationships, etc. So the paradigms that we have for each one of these areas are huge. It's how we operate on that deeper subconscious level, that place where you just can't break through to that next level you're trying to do, and you're reaching for everything outside of you and you just can't figure out why. For me, one of my big things was, I've talked about it many times before, but I had an amazingly devastating anger problem. If I were to walk you through my house, you would see evidence of this. And that began because I thought that my anger was my answer. I believed my dad was angry. His dad was angry, that this was just something that I had, that it was genetically implanted in me, and it would always be something that I would struggle with. Good morning, Denise. That I would struggle with my anger because of that deep seated and seeing anger all throughout my life. Okay. And in traumatic situations, anger kept me from feeling sad, hurt, and vulnerable. So anger became my go-to, and it grew because that's what I fed. I fed anger. Any opportunity for me to be angry, I would be angry, get angry, and stay angry. I lived my life angry. Again, not being your authentic self and trying to wear a mask or a disguise that the world can accept, or as much as you can get by with it, that keeps a person angry as well. So that's the example of what the paradigm is. Again, your beliefs about money, your beliefs about relationships, how you operate in relationships, who you attract, all of those things. You say to yourself, why do I keep attracting this same kind of jackass? Why do I keep attracting this same kind of crazy female? Why? Well, it comes down to the paradigm. And we are made to survive, and that's how they begin to form. This is a little tiny bit off subject, but it'll bring it around. So last year, we had this feral cat bring some kittens up on our back porch, and they were sick. And I sat with this one little kitten, and I watched this thing just hanging on to life. And, we nursed it, we did everything we could just trying to save it. But it was apparent that this kitten was not going to make it. And so I kept just being there with it, and what I kept thinking about is we're not made like animalistic created not to give up. We as human beings are the only ones that have that, well, I just give up switch. I'm done. I give, and that's that. But, inherently in us, we are created to survive. And many times we don't have that give up spirit, or we have to force ourselves to do it. And that's really that's a lot of times where that paradigm begins to be built, is in those moments of your life where you had to become something on the inside, or assume a set of beliefs to keep you alive. But what happens is we never go back and revisit those beliefs, and they carry on with us. And we don't even realize what's happening. So the first part of a paradigm shift is to realize the paradigm, to become aware of the paradigm. And we've already touched on money, and it doesn't take some big, deep, in-depth like deep dive sessions with therapists and all of that. It's great if that's what you can do. Honestly, I love therapy. It's a wonderful thing. But if you can begin to become aware of it, if you take something easy like money, do you struggle with money? What parts? Do you struggle with getting it, or do you struggle with keeping it? Do you struggle with spending too much, or not spending, hardly any? Or do you not struggle in that area at all, and ask yourself why? Because the paradigm is not just bad. Paradigm is just what it is. So you just got to start with the awareness of it. And when we talk about how to shift the paradigm, as we're going into now, number one, the first thing is going to be repetition. Repetition. So again, start small, pick something extremely small. This was kind of funny. I began, like I was saying in the beginning, I began with an exercise from Bob Proctor. And if you don't know who Bob Proctor is, he's just an amazing speaker, teacher, everything. So anyway, Bob Proctor had this stop oversleeping thing. And it's so simple. And basically what I took from that lesson was I asked myself what is the cause of me oversleeping? Okay. I hit the snooze button. What is the whole pattern? Because I guarantee you do the same thing over and over and over again. You keep doing the same thing over. So ask yourself, what is the pattern? Why do I continuously oversleep and end up being late to work every morning, or whatever it is? This is just an example. And then write it out. Write it out. The brain makes a better connection when you actually physically write something out on paper. You can do it through the whole typing thing, but I tell you, I have found more success in writing things down than anything. So then to start to shift that, what is the opposite? Remember when I told you guys when I came into recovery, the one rule that I had for myself was that I was going to do the exact polar opposite of whatever it was that I thought to do in any situation. Because I only knew how to keep myself sick and using and failing. So I was going to do whatever I thought to do. I was just going to do the opposite. No questions asked, just doing it. And that's the same thing here. Whatever paradigm you want to begin to work on, and I urge you to start very small, is what's the opposite? And then write that down. And write it, though, in a way that is worded like an affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I get up as soon as my alarm clock goes off, and as soon as I wake up, I get up and I start to go into my day, and I am winning. Whatever it is, just get the affirmation, because I'm going to tell you, it's just like when we say act as if, it's just like when they say ask, believe, and receive. Believe you have received it, not that you are receiving it, that you already have received it. Begin to speak about this area as if it is already the way you want it to be. So I am so happy and grateful that my alarm clock goes off and I get up right precisely then. And I begin my day winning. I begin my day in control, however it is, but write that in an affirmation. Write it where you can see it. In fact, old Bob had us write it 100 times in a day for 30 days straight. And I can tell you, anything that you do for 30 days straight, whether you perceive it to be bad or good, is going to make an imprint on your subconscious mind. It has to. And remember, we are 90% subconscious. We are only 10% conscious mind all day. And generally, a lot of the thoughts that we have in that 10% are just repeated thoughts throughout the day. So understand that the key to really getting to the core of that place that you really, really, really want to get to bring your life into that place you desperately want to live it, is to start in that subconscious mind. It's not new age. It is not sacrilegious or any of those things that when you start talking about universal law and all that stuff that people immediately say, oh no. Look, man, these are the secrets to really making lasting change in your life. And they're happening whether you call them out or name them something or not. They're happening. And don't you want to be in control of that? That's where you want to be. And you can take that control. Love you, babe. You can take that control of your life right here and now. It is right here for you. So remember, thoughts produce behaviors, behaviors produce results, and our lives are not the fault of outside circumstances, outside sources. We've been created with the power to connect with our source, your higher power, whatever you name, and change our lives at the very core of our being. And when you change yourself at the core of your being, you don't continue to fight with the same issues. It's why a person that's 30 days in recovery and someone that's 30 years don't have the same fight anymore. It's not the same battle. We're all battling this big thing called addiction, but the difference is that you graduate from different battles as you go through and you begin to fight new things. And it's really not even a fight. It's learning. It's an opportunity to grow. I've been doing my best to take the word fight out of my life, the words battle out of my life, because really those words start to create this tough attitude, it's got to be rigid. It's got to be hard. We got to just always struggle through it. And really what I'm finding out in my life is the more that I integrate all of these learnings into my soul and connect all of this, it's less of a struggle. It's less of a fight. It's less of white knuckle. It's less of, bulldogging my way through life, and more of an ease and a connection and moving through life with life, versus again standing at the dam of life trying to hold it back. It never happens. And so I really, really, really am planning to dive deeper into these things. And for those of you that are interested in learning more about, how the how the laws of living go with recovery and how to do that on a deeper and more core scale. We've created the Recovery Soul Food Patreon page, and that's where we're going to end up doing these things. We're going to dive deeper. There's a couple different tiers you can get in on, and we just want to go deeper into this stuff. And though she doesn't know it, my guest host, because we're going to do a special Thursday night live stream this Thursday, tomorrow night. Good, Margie. We're going to do that this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. My guest host, Lucia Harper, is going to be on with me. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this and what it actually looks like in other people's lives as well. Because, it's great to have two opposing, not always opposing, but two different viewpoints on things, because not everyone sees everything the same way. Not everyone sees things the way I see them, and I opposite the same, And so it's always good to have diversity. That our world thrives on diverse. It thrives on all of us being different and all of us bringing something special to the table of life and learning to love one another as we do that. We've gotten so programmed, again, a paradigm that we only commune with people that think the same as us, and only commune with people that do the same things or believe the same things. And what kind of fun is that? It's great to be around like-minded people, in a positive way. Yes, but we cannot take away the importance of diversity on the earth. It's why we're all created individually, perfected as just one of us. And so we can learn so much from each other. And I really look forward to diving in and creating these series on the Patreon page, where we're going to actually create a subject and dive into a series. And we're just going to squeeze every bit of information and inspiration and motivation out of each one of those topics and subjects. And, we're going to go deeper. This is the time that all of us have to go deeper. You can keep fighting against COVID. You can keep being miserable about being locked in. You can keep being stressed out and all of those things. But I ask you, how is that serving you in any way of your life? I'm down with doing the opposite of what makes me miserable. I'm always looking for the best feeling thought. I'm always trying to live and be in the highest vibration possible, because all we are is energy, and everything that we vibrate out vibrates back. And so if you don't like what's coming back at you, then start where it begins and put out something different. And the way we do that is just what we're talking about today, to begin to identify those old paradigms, where they are not serving you, where they are hurting you, and shifting them to make your life the dream life that you deserve to live, no matter what. I love you guys. I really, really do. You really make my life so, so amazing. And I'm really, really grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And I will be back right here on Friday for Thank God It's Friday Live, Freedom Friday, whatever we feed your soul Friday, whatever I feel like calling it that day. I love you guys so very much. I'll be here at 7:45 a.m. Eastern time. Let's get up early, birds, and squeeze the best out of this day. And again, don't forget, Thursday night, 7 p.m. right here and on the YouTube channel, because I'm going live simultaneously now here and on the YouTube. So you can always go to the Rise Up Recovery YouTube channel and catch up on these videos if you want to see them again. I also generally save them in case you want to watch them over. I always watch things over and over and over and listen to things over and over and over because I always find new information in them. Well, that's an interruption. And so again, Thursday night, 7 p.m., my guest host, Lucia Harper. We're going to discuss these things. Get over to the Patreon page. Go ahead and get signed up and get ready to feed your soul. And April the 15th, we are going to kick off the relaunch of the Recovery Soul Food podcast with our good friend, fearless happiness guy, Max Nace, and I cannot wait. You guys get out of here. Have the most winning Wednesday ever in your life. Because of what? Because you decide to. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.